Yes. Good morning, everyone. Yes. Yes. So yesterday we have seen these things here. Yesterday we started with this. Yes. So now this might be a fourth class, right? This 4 days recordings will be given. Yes. Now this is how it is. Okay, demo classes recordings will be given so that you can listen again. So I said no, first 10 classes recordings I'll provide. But after that recordings will not be given. First 10 days I'll provide the recordings. Okay. Yes. Now we are talking about what is programming paradigm. Yes. We are talking about what is programming paradigm. Yes. Yeah. If those who are new, for them I'll give you recordings. Okay. Yes. So, but we are not yet started Python. Not yet started Python. So today I may introduce Python. Okay. So what is programming paradigm? A programming paradigm, yes. Those are not able to hear, no, Ankita. So please rejoin. So what is a programming paradigm? Let us talk about this. So every programming language, okay, every programming language, yes. For example, okay, so there is a language called C. Okay, so you have a language called C. Okay, C is which language here? Procedural oriented programming language. C is procedural oriented programming language. C++ is there. It is called as object oriented. I'll tell you the difference, Akshay. Don't worry. What is a yes? C++ is called object oriented programming language. Okay, and Java is which language again? Object oriented. Object oriented programming language. Okay, C is a language. Okay, C is a programming language, and C++ is a programming language, and Java is also programming language. But all these programming languages follow some set of rules and regulations for writing programs. For example, you'll say, no, what is program? Now just try to answer this. What is program? What is program? A program is a collection of, a program is what? Collection of what? Data and instructions. What is a program? A program is a collection of data and instructions. For example, you write a program for adding two numbers. For example, you write a program. You write a program. you write a program for adding two numbers. For example, you write a program for adding two numbers. Yeah. Yes. So yeah. Ankita, please. So everyone hear my voice. Okay. Yes. See, a program is a collection of data and instructions. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. A program is a collection of data and instructions, and programming is nothing but what is programming? Programming is nothing but organizing. Programming is nothing but organizing data and instructions according to a given problem. Suppose I want to write a program. Suppose I want to write a program in C. How to write a program in C? I have to follow certain rules and regulations. I want to write a program in C++. How to write a program in C++? I have to follow certain rules and regulations. I want to write a program in Java. How to write a program in Java? I have to follow certain rules and regulations. So that set of rules and regulations are called as what? Programming paradigm. So what is programming paradigm is? A programming paradigm define some set of rules and regulations for organizing data and what? Instructions. So there are different programming paradigms are there. What is that? Procedural oriented. What is procedural oriented is a programming paradigm. What is object oriented is a programming paradigm. What is programming paradigm? Okay, what is programming paradigm? A programming paradigm define some set of rules and regulations. For example, in C, how you write the programs. Suppose if it is C is there, how you write the programs in C? You write the programs in C. You write the programs in C. How you write the programs in C? Now just here, you write the programs in C by dividing your instructions into small pieces. You write the programs in C by dividing the programming instructions into small pieces. And small pieces are called as which one? Functions. How you are writing the programs in C language? By organizing the data and instructions into a small pieces, and the small piece of programs are called which one? Functions. Now functions are building blocks of which one? Procedural oriented. Okay, you try to write a function called which one? Add. You try to write a function called which one? Sub. You try to write the function called add. You try to write the function called which one? Sub. Okay, add function is having instructions belongs to what? Addition. Sub function is having instructions belongs to what? Subtraction. Add function is having instructions belongs to what? Addition. Sub function is having instructions belongs to what? Subtraction. But how you are writing this code? You are writing this code. Okay, you are writing the code by organizing everything into small functions. Now, this kind of approach is called which one? Procedural. This kind of approach is called as which one? Procedural, right? Okay, so every language follows certain rules and regulations. The programming languages which are built using object oriented are called as which one? Object oriented languages. The programming languages which are built using procedural, that you call it as which languages? Procedural languages. But object oriented is not a language. Okay, C++ is a language. Java is a language. Python is a language. .NET is a language. But object oriented is not a language. What is object oriented? What is object oriented? Is a programming paradigm. What is object oriented is a programming paradigm. What it define? What is object oriented is a programming paradigm. What it define? What it define? What it define? Set of rules and regulations. What it define? Set of rules and regulations for writing program. How to write a program? How to write a program? I need to follow certain rules and regulations given by language. How to organize? How to organize it? How to organize the data and instructions? I have to organize the data and instructions by following the rules given by what? Programming language. So that set of rules and regulations are called as what? Programming paradigms. Getting or not? So each programming paradigm is having its own advantages as well as what? Disadvantages. Because of that, you find different types of programming paradigms. So there are some drawbacks of procedural. Because of that, you're moving to which one? Object oriented. Because there are some drawbacks in procedural, because of that, you're moving to which one? Object oriented. We'll be discussing about this. What is procedural? What is object oriented? Later, but just try to understand. But Python is which language? What both? Python is which language? Procedural or object oriented or what? Python is object oriented programming language, but it also support. Python is object oriented programming language. It also support other programming paradigms. It also support other programming paradigms like procedural, modular. It supports other programming paradigms like procedural, modular, and everything. So that is where you'll say Python is multi-paradigm programming language. Multi-paradigm. Actually, it is what? Object oriented. But you can write a programs in Python the way you write in C language. But C is not object oriented, right? C is which language? Procedural. The way how I'm writing a program in C, can I write in Python? Yes. Because it is multi-paradigm. Because it is multi-paradigm. Yes. Because it is multi-paradigm, you can you can do it. Now see, this is your batch admin number. You can take this number here. Okay, this is your batch admin number. Okay. Now for Google Classroom link, because from past 3 days I'm uploading notes in Telegram. Okay. So after 2-3 days, I'll try to upload I'll try to upload notes in the Google Classroom. I'll try to upload the notes in Google Classroom. Now this is your admin number. Name is this is the name of your admin, Mr. Mahesh. Online students also. Online students also just take this number. Okay, right? Yes. Now online students, now this thing you can send already is payment details and other things. you can take that, right? Okay, fine. I say no doubts. If you want to ask the doubts, you can ask in the Google Classroom. Yeah, classroom training also available. Offline is also available. This course is for both online as well as offline. Okay. Yes. Programming paradigm. A programming paradigm define set of rules and regulations. A programming paradigm define set of rules and regulations for organizing of data and instructions. A programming paradigm define set of rules and regulations for organizing of data and instructions. You ask in chat window, Sharma. You ask in chat window, I'll try to respond it. Okay. If any doubt is there, you can put in classroom also. Classroom, if you put, I'll try to respond in the classroom. Okay. Classroom also you can ask. You can ask in the classroom also. So there I'll try to clarify. I'll send a message, right? Pratik Mishra also. So you have a different programming paradigms. You have a different programming paradigms. Now there is a programming paradigm called, there is a monolithic, which is called as unstructured programming. There is a procedural oriented programming. Okay, there is a modular oriented programming. Modular oriented programming. There is a object oriented programming. Object oriented programming. Like this, you have a different programming paradigms. This is called as POP, and this is called as MOP, and this is called as OOP. Okay. Yes. For example, suppose a simple example I'm telling you. For example, there is unstructured programming. Okay, there is unstructured programming language. Assume that there is one language called basic. Yeah, structured also. Assume that there is a language called basic. A basic is called as an unstructured programming language. According to unstructured programming, okay, programming, according to unstructured programming, all the instructions are organized. All the instructions are organized in which order? Sequential order. All the instructions are organized in which order? Sequential order. According to basic is a language, and basic is which language? Assume that if it is unstructured programming, how you are organizing all the instructions one by one, one by one, one by one. Now this is which kind of programming? Unstructured programming. And the same thing you call it as monolithic. The same thing is called as which one? Monolithic. Suppose assume that there is a language called C. There is a language called C, and C is called as which language? Procedural oriented programming language. According to procedural oriented language, you organize the instructions by dividing into a small programs. A program is divided into a small programs, And the small programs are called as what? Functions. The small programs are called as which one here? Functions. So there is a function called add. There is a function called which one? Sub. So add is having instructions belongs to what? Addition. Add is having instructions belongs to what? Addition. And sub is having instructions belongs to what? Subtraction. Add is having an instructions belongs to addition. And sub is having instructions belongs to what? Subtraction. If any changes to be done in addition, I do changes in which one? Addition, without doing changes in what? Subtraction. If any changes has to be done in the subtraction, I do the changes in subtraction without doing changes in what? Addition. It means by dividing your code into the pieces, maintaining your code becomes what? Easy. But here there is no proper organization of what here? Instructions. But here there is a proper organization of what? Instructions. So these are nothing but rules and regulations. According to the procedural, you have to write the code like this. According to the unstructured programming, you have to write the code like this. So in unstructured, you are organizing it in which order? Sequential order, that is monolithic, which is one by one, one by one. But when it comes to the procedural, this code is been divided into small pieces. Okay, we'll be talking about this in detail. Okay, but just try to understand what is the meaning of programming paradigm. What is the meaning of programming paradigm? Yes, just try to understand what is exactly the meaning of programming paradigm. Okay, next we'll just move into our next chapter, which is which is introduction to Python. Now you can say this is your first class in Python. Introduction to Python. Introduction to Python. Now this is the first class of Python, but whatever we have seen till now, that is introduction to programming languages. Whatever we have seen till now, that is introduction to programming languages. Okay, yes. Now Python, now introduction to Python. Now within this, the first question is, what is Python is? What is Python? So Python is Python is a programming language. Python is a programming language like C, C++, Java. Like C, C++, Java. Python is also what your programming language. So Python is an object oriented. Python is object oriented. Python is object oriented programming language. Python is object oriented programming language and other programming paradigms. Also support other programming paradigms. It also support other programming paradigms. Because of this, it is called multi-paradigm programming language. Because of this, it is called as multi-paradigm programming language. Multi-paradigm means you can write the programs using multiple programming paradigms. Multi-paradigm means you can write the programs using multiple programming paradigms. But actually it is which language? Object oriented. But I can also write the programs using other programming paradigms like proce- okay. I can write it by using other programming paradigms like procedural, modular, okay, other programming paradigms. Because of that, Python is called as which language? Multi-paradigm programming language, right? And not only that, Python is a general purpose. Python is a general purpose programming language. Python is general purpose programming language. So what do you mean by general purpose? A programming language used for developing, okay, used for developing any type of, any type of application, any type of application or software is called a general purpose, is called a general purpose programming language. Is called a general purpose programming language. This here. What is Python? Python is a programming language. Python is which type of programming language? Object oriented. But also support other programming paradigms or not? Yes. That's the reason it is called which one? Multi-paradigm. And Python is which language? General purpose. See, there are some programming languages which are called purpose-based. For example, there is one language called COBOL. So COBOL is not general purpose. COBOL is purpose-based. It means I can use a COBOL for developing. I can use a COBOL for developing which applications? Business applications. For example, there is a language called Pascal. There's a language called Pascal, and this is used for developing which applications? Okay, which is used for developing which applications? Scientific applications. There is a language called Fortran. There's a language called Fortran, which is used for solving the complicated mathematical word expressions. There is a language called R. R is used for which one? Statistics. R is used for which one? Statistics. It means COBOL is meant for developing business applications. Pascal is meant for developing scientific applications. Fortran is meant for solving the complicated mathematical expressions. And R is for statistics. And C is for, okay, C is mainly used for which applications? Embedded applications. It is used for developing which applications? And embedded applications. And C++, mostly it is used for developing which one? Games. Okay, COBOL is meant for business applications. Pascal is meant for scientific applications. Fortran is meant for mathematical expressions. R is for statistics, and C is for which applications? Embedded applications, and C++ is for what? Games. It means, suppose if you take Java, Java is meant for, assume that Java is meant for developing which applications? Web applications. Okay, web applications are what is that? Internet. Web applications are internet applications. Okay, there is a language like Kotlin. Kotlin is a language which is used for developing mobile applications. It means each language is used for developing one type of application. It means if I want to learn, suppose if I want to develop a games, previously I have to learn which one? C++. If I want to develop embedded applications, I have to learn which one? C. If I want to develop scientific applications, I have to learn which one? Pascal. If I want to develop a business applications, I have to learn which one? COBOL. If I want to develop web applications, I have to learn which one? Java. Okay, it means I have to learn multiple languages for developing different types of applications. But instead of learning these many number of languages, one language which is loaded with all the things, one language which is loaded with what? All the things. What is that language? Python. So Python is general purpose, means I can use this language for developing any application. I cannot say that I cannot develop this application in what? Python. I can develop business applications, I can develop scientific applications, I can develop, I can use for statistics, I can use for embedded applications, I can use it for games, I can use it for web applications, I can use it for what? Mobile applications, any type of application I can develop in what? Python. So Python is fully loaded. Anything you can do it using which one? Python. So that is what you mean by general purpose. That is what you mean by general purpose, right? Just try to understand these definitions. Okay. So, and not only that, Python is, Python is high level. Python is what? High level programming language. Python is high level programming language. Python is high level programming language, and all high level languages all high level languages are in simple English. All high level languages are in simple English and what is that? Hardware. Hardware what? Independent. Means using this language, I can write the program on any hardware, any system. I can write the programs on any system. I can write the programs irrespective of what? Hardware. I can write the programs irrespective of what? Hardware. That is what you mean by hardware independent, right? So Python is high level programming language, and all high level languages are in simple English and hardware independent. Getting or not? Okay, just try to see this definition. Okay, Python is what? Object oriented multi paradigm general purpose high level programming language. This definition I'll combine it. Python is object oriented, okay, general purpose and high level and high level and high level what? Programming language. High level programming language, right? High level programming language. So Python is a programming language. Python is programming language. Python is a programming language, and having some of the features of which language? Scripting language. Python is programming language, but having some of the features of which language? Scripting language. But actually, you should not say Python is a scripting language. Python is what? Programming language only. Okay. Yes. Okay, fine. This is what is a Python is. Python cannot support Android, I think. Why? Python support Android. You want to develop Android applications in Python? You want to develop Android applications in Python? See here. Kiwi runs on Linux, Windows, OS, X, Android, iOS. Who is this? RANJA. Okay, na? Raspberry Pi. Okay, okay, clear up. RANJA. Okay. Okay. Now this is a definition of Python. Yes. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see the examples. Don't worry. Please share the example of supporting script by Python. Okay, definitely. Definitely we'll do that. Then now we have learned what is Python. The next we'll see what is the advantage of using Python. Okay, why this Python is so popular? So Python is one of the topmost programming language. Okay, one of the topmost programming language according to what Google search. Okay, so Python is one of the topmost programming language from past some 4 or 5 years, right? So still it is topmost programming language. But why Python is so popular? Why Python is so popular? What are the facilities it is providing to the programmer? Okay, it is providing certain features. It is providing some facilities to the programmer. Because of that, it has become what so popular compared to what other programming languages. So what is the advantage of using Python? So what I'm talking about is Python features. See, after this Python features, we'll talk about Python history, like who developed Python, why develop Python, when develop Python, Python is derived from which language, versions of Python, everything we'll talk about. But before history of Python, we'll just talk about what is the advantage of using Python is. So most of the students, if I ask what is the advantage of using Python, always they'll say Python is what? Easy. First feature is what here? Easy. Easy. So Python is easy, but how Python is easy? So this easy, always you'll say Python is easy, but this is compared with what? Other programming languages. Compare with other programming languages, Python is more easy. But how Python is easy? Python is easy because, okay, Python is easy because, okay, the first one is easy syntax. First one is what here? Easy syntax. Easy syntax or simple syntax. So compared to other programming languages, compared to other programming languages, compared to other programming languages, Python syntax is Python syntax is easy. Compared to other programming languages, Python syntax is what? Easy. How it is? For example, if you are working with a C language, okay, if you see the syntax of C, if you see the syntax of C, there is a first rule, like every statement. What is the first rule here? Every statement in C language, every statement in C language is terminated. Every statement in C language is terminated with what? Semicolon. Every statement in C language is terminated with what? Semicolon. Suppose in C, if I'm not putting one semicolon, I'll get so many errors. Getting on. So it means as a developer, I have to think about semicolons. As a developer, I have to think about what? Semicolons. Okay. Okay. So semicolon. Every statement in C language is terminated with what? Semicolon. And not only that, not only that, if you see the syntax of C language, okay, in C language or C family languages, in C language, every block, every block is defined, every block is defined using what do you call it as open curly brace and what? Closed curly brace. It means how you define the block. For example, if you are writing the if statement, You'll write this if statement like this. If something like A is greater than B, A is greater than B, then I open the block. What will happen if I'm not closing the block? I open the block, but if I'm not closing the block, what will happen? Immediately it gives what? Error. It means as a C++ Java developer, as a C++ Java developer, you have to concentrate more on what? Syntax as well as what? Logic. If I don't put one semicolon, if I forgot close a flower bracket, then immediately it gives what? Error. I'll get lot of errors. It means as a C++ developer, I have to think about what? Syntax. As a C++ developer, I have to think about what? Syntax. But as a Python developer, I don't require to think about what? Syntax. Why? Because in Python, the statements are not terminated with what? Semicolon. So I don't require to think about, is it my statement is terminated with semicolon or not? And I don't define the blocks using curly braces. So I don't require to think about, is it block is opened or what is that? Close. No. So I don't require to bother about which one this syntax is what you do in C++ and what Java. Now that makes it programming more easier compared to what other programming languages. Okay, how easy syntax example is like statements in okay statements in Python are not terminated with what? Semicolon. And blocks in Python are not defined with what is that? Curly braces. Blocks in Python are not defined with curly braces. Easy syntax. Okay. Now next one is now Python makes it programmer job easy. Python makes it programmer job easy by introducing Python makes it programmer job easy by introducing automatic memory management. By introducing what here? Automatic memory management. Automatic memory management. So when you're talking about memory management, the memory management consists of two things. One is allocating memory, and second one is what? Deallocating memory. One is allocating memory and one more is deallocating memory. Anita, please, we'll discuss. There is no labeling. There is no labeling loops. That is in Java, not in Python. So Python is very easy. Okay, don't think in Java point of view, right? Don't think in Java point of view, right? So memory management, there is no labeling loops. There is no labeling loops in Python. That is in Java. Okay, yes. You know Java, then don't think that I can learn Python just like that. No. Okay, Java is different, Python is different. You know Python, you can learn Java easily. You know Java, you cannot learn Python easily. No. If you know Python, you can move to Java easily, but you know Java, right? You cannot do Python directly. You have to learn it. because the syntax is completely different. And Python is a language which is having the syntax of all the languages. It is a language which is having the syntax of all the language. It means you are learning multiple languages. In one language, you are learning multiple languages. You're learning C language, you're learning C++, you're learning which one? Java, you're learning JavaScript. You'll be learning JavaScript concepts, you'll be learning C concepts, you'll be learning C++ concepts, you'll be learning what? Java concepts in one language. And that is what here? Python. Okay, that is a philosophy of which one? Python. Getting or not? Okay. Yes. So Python is easy because it makes the programmer job easy. See, what is the meaning of easy? Which makes the programmer job easy. Which makes the programmer job what? Easy. That is what he meant by easy. Easy means don't think that English. Because any high level language is in what? English. But how it is easy? It is easy because it reduces the efforts of which one? Programmer. So because of that, it is easy. Now, first one is easy syntax. Compared to other programming languages, Python syntax is what? Easy. Because as a Python developer, you don't require to concentrate more on what? Syntax. As a Python developer, you concentrate more on which one? Logic. Only on the logic, but not on the syntax. And not only that, as a Python developer, you are not required to think about memory management. You are not required to think about which one? Memory management. The memory management is taken care by which one? Python only. So what is the meaning of memory management? The memory management consists of two things. One is allocating memory and one more is what? Deallocating memory. Why you are allocating memory? Generally, why you allocate memory? Generally, what is a program? Tell me. A program is a collection of data and instructions or not? Yes. Program is a collection of data and instructions. Data and instructions. A program is a collection of data and instructions. For this data, is it required to reserve the space or not? Yes. Reserving space in memory is called as which one? Allocating. Reserving space in memory, reserving some space in memory is called as which one? Allocating. You are reserving some space in the RAM. Your program is reserving some space in the RAM for storing which one? Data. For loading which one? Data. So this you call it as which one? Allocating. Reserving space within the RAM is called allocating. Okay, so that you load the data and perform certain operations. You load the data and perform certain operations. For example, I want to find out the total salaries of the employees. I want to find out the total salaries of employees. Then I have to load salaries of employees into the memory and then do the calculation. What is that calculation? Total. I want to find out the mean. I want to find out the median. To find out the mean and median, I required some data or not? Yes. So where you will be loading this data? In the RAM. How can you load the data in the RAM? Before loading the data in the RAM, I have to reserve some space or not? Yes. I have to reserve the space and then I load the data and then do the calculations. So reserving space for the data within RAM is called as which one? Allocation. Okay, after doing calculations, what I have to do? I have to remove this memory or not? Yes. If I don't remove this memory, what will happen? Calculation is over. After calculation is over, I have to remove this memory or not? Yes. If I don't remove this memory, what will happen? Leads to what? Wastage of memory. Leads to what? Wastage of memory. For example, in your mobile, you open so many applications. In your mobile, so many applications, you open it. Okay, you don't close it. You open all the applications. But at some stage, your mobile will go slow down. Your mobile will slow down or not. Then what you do it? You close all applications. And then you open it. Then it will increase the speed or not? Yes. If you open the application, see when you open application, every application requires some space or not?
Yes. If you open 100 applications, if you open 100 applications in your mobile, 100 applications take some space or not? Yes. But even though if you are not using an application, is it open or not? Even though you are not using application, is it opened or not? Yes. It means that leads to what? Wastage of memory. Then what you have to do? You have to close it. Is it closing applications are done automatically? Yeah? No. Closing application is done automatically? No. You have to close it. Until you don't close it, that application is not closed. That is one simple example. Here, you reserve the space. You reserve the space. You reserve the space for storing the data. And it is a responsibility of programmer to unreserve the space or not. Yes. If I don't unreserve the space, what will happen? It leads to what? Wastage of memory. If it is a wastage of memory, your program occupies more space. Your program occupies what? More space. If your program occupies more space, what will happen? Efficiency will be slowed down. To avoid this, what you have to do after completing your job, you have to delete this memory or not? Yes. But when it comes to the Python programmer always think about which one? Allocation, but he never think about what? Deallocation, because deallocation means unreserving of memory is taken care by whom? Python only. Unreserving memory is taken care by whom? Python only, by using that is what? Garbage collector. We'll talk about that, right? Later, there is one chapter in Python. There is one chapter in Python. See, there is a separate chapter is there. What is the chapter here? Garbage collection, right? So in this chapter, you'll be learning how the memory management is done in what? Python. Okay. So automatic memory management, it means, which makes it programmer job is what? Easy. As a Python developer, you're not required to think about what? Deallocation of memory. You always think about which one? Allocation of memory, but you never think about what? Deallocation. This deallocation is taken care by whom? Python only, so that it avoids wastage of memory. In Python, memory management is done automatically. In Python, memory management is done automatically. So always Python developer, what will do? Reserve memory and store data. Reserve memory and store data and perform what here? Operations. But unreserving of this memory, unreserving of this memory is taken care by Python runtime system. So as a Python developer, you always think about which one? Allocation of memory, but you never think about what? Deallocation of memory. So here Python runtime system provide one service. Python runtime system, it will provide one service. What is that service is called here? Garbage. What is that service is called? Garbage collector. It will provide one service. What is that service? It is called garbage collector. Say, why Python is easy? Tell me here, why Python is easy? Because easy syntax. Compared to other languages, Python syntax is easy or not? Yes. Example is like statements in Python are not terminated with what? Semicolon. And blocks in Python are not defined with what? Curly braces. And how Python is easy? What are other facilities it is providing which makes it easy? Automatic memory management. As a Python developer, you don't require to think about deallocation of memory. Okay, as a Python developer, you always think about what allocation of memory, but you never think about what deallocation of memory. The deallocation is taken care by which one? Python only. Okay, yes. Okay, yes. Now I just put this two things which makes it Python is what? Easy. But there are other things also which makes it Python is what? Easy. Uh, but those comes under other features. But I just put only two things. One is the easy syntax and one more is automatic memory management. Right. Now what is the second feature is Python is free and open source. Python is free as well as what? Open source. Now, what is the second feature is Python is free. Python software is Python software is Python software is free, free to download. Python software is free to download. Okay. Suppose if you want to develop any project using any language, if you want to develop any project using any language, you have to purchase. For example, if I want to develop a project in .NET, I have to purchase .NET license from what? Microsoft. If I want to develop a project, if I want to develop a project in Java, I have to purchase license of Java from whom? Oracle Corporation. Okay, because these softwares are not free. Okay, you cannot use it for free. Okay, you cannot develop the project. Okay, by just downloading illegally. Okay, illegally. That is not accepted by whom? Client. So client will ask whether you have a license or not. You have a license, softwares or not. Getting on it. But when it comes to the Python, you don't require to purchase. You don't require to purchase the Python software because Python software is available freely. Okay, Python software is available free for commercial as well as for any other purpose. You can download the Python software. Python software can be downloaded. Python software can be downloaded from this particular website, that is www.python.org. You can just open this www.python.org. This is a website, and if you open this, you can find downloads, and this is a current version of which one? Python. We'll talk about these versions and how to download and how to install Python software. Okay, we'll see that. We'll see that. Okay, yes. Python.org, www.python.org. Now, Python is not only free. Python is not only free. Okay, it is not only free software. It is not only free software. It is also open source. Python software is open source. What is open? What is open source? What is the advantage of open source technologies? Now there is a lot of demand. There is a lot of demand for open source technologies. But what do you mean by open source? Okay, now let us talk with a simple example. What is the meaning of open source and what is the advantage of it? For example, I developed one game. For example, I developed one game. Okay, assume that I developed one game in C language. Assume that I developed one game in which language? C language. What is that game is? Some chess.c. What is that game I developed in C language? Chess.c. Okay, the program what I write in C language, that program is called which program? Source program. This is called as source program. The same thing, you call it as which one? Source code. It is called as a source program or source code. Who understand the C program? C programmer, right? So is it this is C source code or not? Yes. This program is written in which language? C language. So C program is understood by whom? C programmer. But is it the C program understood by the machine? No. The computer understands only one language. What is that? Machine language or binary language. And then you convert this into which language? Binary language or executable code by using which one? Compiler. So when you compile the C program, your C compiler generates which code? Native code or executable code. Assume that this program is chess dot, what is that? Exe. What is this program? Chess.exe. And this chess.exe contain which code? Executable code. Executable code or the same thing you call it as which one? Binary code. It is having executable code or which one? Binary code. Suppose you want to sell your game. You want to sell your game. Which one will you sell? Source program or executable program? You want to sell it. You develop one game and you want to sell it. Now, which one will you sell? Will you sell the source code or executable code? Which one will you sell? Will you sell the source program or executable program? Source program or executable program? You'll sell which program? Source program or executable? Executable. You'll sell which program? Executable program. Executable program, you'll sell it. You don't sell the source program, right? You'll try to sell which program? Executable program. You'll sell the executable program, not source program. So if you suppose, assume that you'll sell the executable program, you don't sell the source program. You'll sell which program? Executable program. Okay, you'll sell executable program to one person. Okay, you say this executable program to one person. Now this is one person called X. So what this X person you sell this executable code means chess.exe to whom? X. What he can do, he can just download it and then what? Execute it. Is he able to do any changes in this exe? No, because this is which code here? Binary code or executable code. Okay, assume that. Okay, assume that. Okay, assume that I sell even which code? Even I sell which code? Source code also. Even I sell which code? Source code also to which person? X person. And if this X person knows which language? C language. I sell this source code as well as what? Executable code. Both source code as well as executable code to which person? X. X person. And this X person knows which language? C language. What he can do? What he can do? He can modify this code or not? Yes. He can modify this code and develop a new chess or not? Yes. He can develop a new chess and he can sell it or not? Yes. Getting or not? So Python software source code is public. Suppose you develop one project. Okay, suppose if you take WhatsApp is there, WhatsApp application, that app is there. No, you just download, execute. Can you see the source code of WhatsApp? No. If WhatsApp source code is given by Facebook people, what you can do? You can modify and you can develop so many WhatsApp applications or not? Yes. It means WhatsApp source code is a public? No. Is it WhatsApp source code is a public? No. It's given only installable. Install it, execute it. But source code of that I cannot see it. How it is developed, in which language it is developed, that code can I see it? No. If the source code is given to the public, what they can do? They can modify it. They can do the changes and they can develop what? New technologies or new software. When it comes to the Python also, Python source code is what? Public. Python complete software is public. Python software source code is given to the public. Compiler source code is given to the public. Okay, Python source code is given to the public. How the compiler is designed? What are the functions? Functions source code also given to what? Public. What they can do it? If the source code of Python is given to the public, what they can do it? They can develop a new Python languages or not? Yes. They can develop new Python languages. That's the reason you find different Python languages, Python flavors. You have a different Python flavors like Jython. There is a Jython. Jython is there. Jython is Java plus Python. Jython is Java plus Python. There is Iron Python. Iron Python is .NET plus Python. So Java people, they develop Jython. Java people, they develop Jython. How they develop Jython? By using which one? Python. Because Python source code is given public, right? Once they given to the public, what they've done? They develop new Python languages. They develop new Python languages or new Python compilers. There is a Jython which add the features of which one? Java. There is Iron Python which add the features of which one? .NET. Getting on it. So if the language is an open source, for example, in market there is a JavaScript is there. JavaScript is an open source. Because of JavaScript is an open source, you find so many frameworks of JavaScript like what is that? Angular JS. You find which one? Node.js, like this. Angular JS, Node.js. Okay. React JS, like this. Amber JS, like this. You find so many JavaScript technologies. But all these are developed using which one? JavaScript. All these are developed using which one? JavaScript, because JavaScript is what? Open source. I think you know it. Unix, one of the oldest operating system. Unix operating system is an open source. Because of that, Unix operating system is an open source. Because Unix operating system is an open source, you find different flavors of Unix, like Linux. Linux is a flavor of which one? Unix. Solaris is a flavor of which one? Unix. HPUX is a flavor of which one? Unix. Because using Unix, they develop so many operating systems. Because Unix source code is public or not? Yes. If anything is open to the public, what they can do it? They can develop a new technologies. So Python source code is open to the public or not? Yes. You can see that. I'll show you the source code of Python software. I'll show you the source code of Python software. You can download that also. You can download, see how many things you can download. Python software, you can download Python software, you can download it, and even Python source code also you can download. Okay, Python software you can download, Python source code also you can download. You can see how each and every function in Python is written. What is the logic of each and every function of Python? Everything you can see the source code of each and every function, each and everything related with what? Python. What is the internal mechanism? How it is working internally? Everything you can see it by downloading which one? Source code. Okay. Yes. Just try to understand now. Python is open source. Python source code is open to public. Python source code is open to public. If source code is open, the public can develop. Public can develop what? New what? Languages. New languages using which one? Python. Frameworks. New languages as well as what? Frameworks. New languages and frameworks. So that is the advantage of open source. Or it can be integrated with, if it is open, people can misuse the language. What they can do it? Misusing means what?
First of all, it should accept by the industry, right? If they are changing it, the changes should be accepted by the, yes, yes, Arvind, yes. No, 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 not like that. Not like that. Raghu Punnam, no. What is that? Manipulation of application means what? Integrating with, integrating with, integrating with existing what here? Technologies. Integrating with the existing technologies. If it is open source, it can be integrated with what? Existing technologies. For example, I can use AWS. AWS is a cloud. Okay, I do the automation using what? Python. Okay, I do the automation using what? Python. Now cyber securities is there, where I can use again which one? Python. Okay, okay, it means it can be integrated with what? Existing technologies. Existing technologies without modifying what? Existing technology. Now that is advantage of which one? Open source. So first one is what here? Easy. And second one is free and open source. And not only that, what makes it Python so popular, right? What makes it Python so popular? Third one. Is it these two features you understood? Is it clear? This easy, and one more is free and open source. Let us see another feature. It is having large standard. Yes, it is having large standard libraries. It is having large standard libraries. Large standard libraries. Python is having large standard libraries. Libraries. Now this is where Python is first. Okay, it is having a large standard libraries. Large standard libraries. Yes. Okay. Now we'll talk about this otherwise. So there are some 10 features are there, 10 to 11 features are there. Okay. We'll discuss all these features. Maybe tomorrow we'll see remaining all features, right? I said, these are not demo classes. All these are what? Regular classes only. These are not demo classes. All these are regular classes. Now you have to attend regularly because I don't repeat yesterday's class again today. No. But at this, maybe by Saturday, I'll try to give this whole week videos. Okay. Okay. But you have to attend the class regularly. You'll have the class from Monday to Saturday. Monday to Saturday. Every day you'll have the class. Okay. Okay. Monday to Saturday, you'll have the class. Monday to Saturday, you'll have the class. So Saturday, they'll be changing the link. Those who are online. Saturday, maybe they change.